Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ryan Soutar. I'm one of the senior investment managers here at Sharewise, and we're here this afternoon with Lewis Chen. Now, Lewis is the Executive Vice President and Chief Strategy Officer of Perfect Corporation. Now, Lewis has served as Perfect's Executive Vice President and Chief Strategy Officer since March 2022, where he leads the company's corporate development, strategic partnerships, and marketing efforts. Mr. Chen joined Perfect since its inception in June 2015 as Vice President of Business Development and Marketing. Prior to Perfect, Chen spent 12 years at Cyberlink Corporation, where he served as Vice President of Business Development and Marketing, Head of Consumer Business, and as a Development Engineer. He holds a Master's in Science and a Bachelor in Computer Science from the National Taiwan University. So he's been kind enough this afternoon to lend us his time to brief us on Perfect and how it's tracking and where the future of the business is. So, as usual, I will hand it over to Lewis shortly for a brief presentation about the company, and then we'll open the floor up for questions. So, Lewis, thank you very much for your time this afternoon, mate. The floor's all yours.
Thank you, Brian, and good morning or good evening to everybody where you are. So I'm Lewis Chen. Let me share my screen so you can see my presentation. So I'm really happy today to have this time to share a little bit about Perfect Corp to you. We are listed in the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker of PERF. So it's a tech company very much focused on beauty and fashion, and that's what I want to share to you in my brief presentation today. So as usual, there's a little disclaimer. So Perfect Corp was founded in 2015. So this year we will celebrate our 10 years anniversary very, very soon in the summer. So the company went listed just a little bit over 2 years ago, as I said, in New York Stock Exchange in October of 2022. The company has grew since inception to now to over 360 employees, and about half of those are developers. So it's very heavy on technology, owns a lot of IP, and a lot of things. Most of the things are developed in-house, with the vision of transforming the world with AI innovation, specifically to help solve the pain points between the modern shoppers and the beauty brands. So we are a SaaS company. The company is headquartered located here in Taipei, where I sit. The development center are in Taipei, but it's really a global business. To give you a perspective, about 50% of our global revenue are coming from North America, mostly in the United States, followed very closely by Paris, France, and Japan, Tokyo. And not surprised, these are the three cities that I call the beauty capital of the world, where majority of our beauty clients are the top 20 beauty groups in the world are mostly American, European, French, or Japanese. But we also have sales offices around the world in other places that you can see here on the map. So the geographical location really gives us an advantage to be very, very close to our clients. And this is what the beauty enterprise, the luxury business sits. So what we try to solve here is we look at the modern beauty and fashion consumer demand and their desire. And typically it is very, very difficult for young women or all age about beauty style. Beauty style are very personalized, are very global as well. So knowing and learning how to put on different beauty makeup and the beauty product has been very challenging. And so that's kind of limiting what the consumer can do or want to do, especially when we move to online shoppings. Or, for example, for skincare, skin is, again, your skin might not be the same as mine. Maybe it's dry, it's oily, it's hybrid. Everybody has its own skin concerns that are different. And typically, you need to get into a dermatologist, you need to get to some skin expert to give you the right recommendation. And that is really also preventing the growth of that category. And we are trying to solve that, helping the brand with our technology, with AI, with AR, to identify, what is your skin concerns, how is your skin priority should be looking at. And of course, there are other beauty tutorials and how to learn beauty trends. So the company has actually quite a lot of products, so more than 20 products. And we try to group them in 4 different pillars. The skin AI are technology that are built on helping consumers identifying their skin concerns, helping the med spas, the dermatologist clinics to use that to facilitate their engagement with the consumers. So they are giving the consumer the right, proper advice. The beauty AI pillar is all about beauty cosmetic, color cosmetic mostly. So it's the virtual try-on products that you can try on different lipstick, eyeshadow, brushes, even hair colors before you make the commitment to change. And fashion AI is all about accessories, apparels, luxuries, fashion, and shoes. And generative AI is all about creativity. So the company has two main business model, the B2B and the B2C. Last year, 2024, we did about $60 million in revenue worldwide. And about half and half, B2C was a little bit bigger, probably 60%, and B2B is about 40%. So you share the same underneath engine. That's really one of the forte and unique business model here, because we don't need to operate in two different P&Ls. It's one cost structure, it's the same team developing these engines, but we're able to monetize it both for the B2B to the brand enterprise and also direct to consumer. And in a few minutes, I'll show you the product for each of them. On the B2B side, a very traditional SaaS business model, a subscription basis, recurring business, where we license different AI and AR technologies for beauty, skincare, hair, and fashions for the brands on an omnichannel level. On the B2C is what the people call it the freemium models. People download this app under the franchise of YouCam from the App Store. The apps are free, and you can unlock all the premium features to be used in the first 7 days. And after the end of 7 days, if you like a product, you can end up in the subscription. That's typically about $39 per year or $5 per month. And this is a new growing business for us. So starting from the B2B, this is where the company was very well established. As you can see here from the chart, starting from 2015, we spin off from Cyberlink. Is another company that we founded, back in the late, early 2000s. It is a public company that is listed here in Taiwan for technology for PC. In 2015, we spun off from Cyberlink, and together we invited about 80 of our colleagues, mostly developers, to join us in this new venture to really conquer the space for beauty and fashion. And since then, you see here the quick journey. All these logos are our clients. Majority of them are beauty brands, including beauty retailers, and more recently, you can see more in the fashion space as well. So really, we are the #1 solution providers for the beauty and skincare in the world, around more than 700 brands at the end of September. So this is what we are very proud of, is winning the trust of all these big logos. Certainly, they are very demanding in terms of the quality, in terms of the technology. They have compared all the other solutions out in the market, and I think they all made the same conclusion to come with Perfect. So we are really reaching this platform, covering 18 of the top 20 beauty groups in the world. And together in our database, in our platform, we have now over 806,000 AR SKUs that people can try virtually. And this is growing organically every quarter, because the brands are bringing new product, for every seasons. Here, I'd like to share with you a little bit the historical trend on how this platform has been growing. On the left-hand side, you see the number of brands that are using our platforms. At the end of the Q3 is 708. And you can see the pattern is really about net 20, roughly 20 increase per quarter, right? So it has been coming in a long way. And I think we'll continue to grow that in the foreseeable future. We are not yet announced our full year results, but it's coming very close. So stay tuned. Typically, we announce the result end of February or so for the whole fiscal year. On the right-hand side, another metric that we track very closely is how many SKUs on our platforms. Because the brand pay us based on the number of services that they subscribe, the number of countries that they deploy these services, and the number of SKU that they put on our platform. So at the end of the Q3, we have more than 800,000 SKUs already available for the consumers. So that's great. Another new news that I want to share with everybody here. 2 weeks ago, we announced our complete acquisition of Wanna from Farfetch. So Wanna is a pioneer in AR and computer vision technology, specialized in virtual try-on solutions such as us, but they are specialized in shoes, bags, and clothes. And we are specialized in skincare, in makeup, in eyewear, in hair. So it's really a very strong synergy. And it serves more than 20 key fashion brands locally. As you can see here, the big logos. from Gucci to Dolce & Gabbana to Balenciaga to Bulgari, right? So it's really very high fashion customers that are already using this solution on the e-commerce platforms, on their .com websites, or on the retail partners. Wanna was founded in 2018. It was acquired by Farfetch in 2022, and now it's part of Perfect Group since January 2025. So we feel that this synergy is really going to boost leap our business to the next level. Here, just to play a few video how this technology works. You see here, actual deployment examples from Todd, from Valentino, how they are allowing user to use AR technology to visualize how is your fit, the style for the shoes, high heels, 3D viewer for your bags, and more and more. Very cool. So the reason we did this, is because of a very, very strong synergy between Perfect Corp and Wanna. We know the business model is very similar SaaS. We serve in the different part of the industry, but we serve the brand directly. So as with the addition, the expansion of Wanna into Perfect, now we are adding capabilities around shoes, bags, clothes, and scarf. Also in terms of clients, a lot of their client, our client, and now all part of Perfect Corp are luxury brands in the tier 1. So there's a lot of cross sales opportunities around those groups. And of course, we are also growing talents. Wanna is a team of about 30 professionals, mostly located in Europe. So we are really enabling our European team to now only having the sales marketing capabilities, but also a product team capabilities. Moving on, a little bit on the B2C business, which is more than half of our business. We operate a franchise of apps under the brand of YouCam. This app can be found in the Apple Store, in Google Play. So YouCam Makeup and YouCam Perfect are the two hero apps. Among the two of them contribute near 90% of the B2C revenues, while remaining little sisters are there for videos, for other enhancements, for AI creative and online editors. So here are an example what this app can do. Majority of the user base on this app are female and very young. So they spend a lot of time on this app, try to learn the most trendy makeups. You can try it on your face with virtual try-ons, or getting flawless skin, again, using our skin technology, trying different hairstyles before you do the commitment to change the color or cut it, right? And then there are more and more of that. The YouCam Perfect is a mix of more male and female. So it's an all-in-one photo editing app powered by AI. So it gives you everything that photo editor does. It removes the background objects for the photo bombs. Give you different filters. It gives you different features to adjust and looks the best in your selfies. So here are the trends. How are we doing in the B2C business? So as of the third quarter of last year, we recorded over 977,000 active subscribers. So these are the people who typically pay $39 a year to unlock all the premium feature in this app. And the growing pattern has been really, really healthy. So I'm very sure that we haven't announced the full year results, but I'm sure you'll be surpassed over 1 million active subscribers. And then the trend will continue in 2025 from our prediction. So getting into more AI technology. So the company has invested in AI all this way. So in 2015, we were one of the pioneers to really use AI machine learning technology into this field. Virtual try-on is not new to the industry. There were other companies prior to us who were offering the solution, but they were not really precise. When you move your head, the lipstick will end up in your chin, will end up in your nose. So one of the things that we challenge ourselves is how we can make our solution much better than anything else out of the competition. And I think our early days of adapting AI machine learning into this field have really gained us a lot of momentum and we're gaining the competition. So we want the battle. And since then, we have been, every year or two, we have been upgrading the technology, our capability with new AI models. And as you all know, the diffusion model, the other models that are these days. So the complete product line range across makeup, skincare, hair, nails, and others. So let me just maybe show you a few examples on how our clients are using those. Okay, so I'll go into the recent client success. So here is a typical example how Walmart, one of our leading partners in the US, are using this in their app. So when the consumer goes to the the Walmart app, right, you go and shop the beauty categories. Now you have this option, try it on. And when the user are browsing through the products, right, so they can go into, for example, select the product, and here again, it will be try on option. So not only look at the images of the product, but you turn on the camera and you're pointing to yourself. And you see here the lady, she's swiping left and right, and she's having the lipstick color already on her lip. So this is a much better engagement rather than seeing the video ads or a photo ads, right? Because people want to see on my own face if that is really a color suitable for me. And I think this is helping a lot, increasing the basket size, conversion rates, and even lowering the return rates. So this is one very typical example how retailers use our technology. Here is another example, Amazon, also our partners in the US. So we are using this for virtual manicure, right? So when you go to Amazon, you try to change, see what the colors to shop, or even different, clips on nails. You can use that with AR technology. If the precision of the tracking of your hand, your fingers is so precise, they give you a realistic feel about it. Here are the example how like luxury brands like Chanel are using our technology. If you go to the WeChat, this is the J12 watch, or this is, for example, on Chanel.com for the different bracelets, or even for nail polish colors. Right? So these are intuitive, very simple to use. No training needed, no app needed. You just browse in the website, click one button, camera comes up, and then it help you visualize how the product fits on you. Here are more other example how we're doing that. For example, for Louis Vuitton, for earring, it's really cool. You go to the website, again, try on options. You turn on the camera, and you see here the lady, the ring, the earrings that she's wearing is created virtually using our AR technology. It's very precise. It's mimic the movement of the physical inertia. So, and this pair is interesting because the left piece and the right piece are different, and the AR can help you visualize that. Here more on the beauty, right? This is one of our core business. This is from MAC under Estee Lauder Group, right? So consumer can have one look at one touch, right? So it's not only the lipstick, you have eyeshadow, you have the palette, and best of that, we even offer tutorials. So one thing that we often get feedback from the consumer is trying to learn about applying techniques. So in this case, if she's trying to play that look, exactly she knows which product to buy, which tool to use, and there's a voice annotation behind it. You can pause, you can rewind, you can see it again, right? And now going to step 2. So she's now putting on the brushes with a different tool, right? And then this is one of the way to create engagement with consumers instead of going to the store and having the beauty advisor, talking to you or even, giving you a sales pitch. Here a quick example how Valmont are using our technology for skincare. Valmont being one of the top luxury skincare brand out of Switzerland. So if you go to the website, people want to understand how is my skin doing. Very simple. You just take your smartphone, scan the QR code, right? The images comes up, and then with 3 seconds, you do a scan of your face, and you identify up to 14 different skin concerns, right? So about wrinkles, about your textures, about your pores, and then based on that, it give you the priorities. It give you the full report with the product recommendations. So this is one of the very strong way of creating upsell that are very personalized. So in Valmont K, they have seen even 3 times figure conversion rates using this technology. And there are just more than a dozen brands already using this in the e-commerce. The other place that we spend is also to use our technology into advertising. So in this case, when you're browsing the video ads, you can have the type try on button. You turn on the camera, right? Ask you for the camera permissions. And now, for example, here, Gucci, right? The lady's already trying the lipstick. Here on the other side, Cartier with their tank watches. Or here, for example, Sally Hansen with the nail products. And if user like, try this color, they can always tap the shop now. In this case, she will go to Sephora or she will go to any other retailers to purchase the product immediately. So again, engagement is a much more powerful advertising tool. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about our partners. Not only we're doing that on our platform, we also provide our technology to key partners like Google, on YouTube, on Google Search, on Snap. Snap is also one of our shareholders, was an investor in the Series C, also did the follow-on our IPO. And then Alibaba is also our shareholder, was a lead investor in the Series B, and they use our technology in Tmall platform across China, more than 200 brands on the platform using that. Also, we have solutions for WeChat and Douyin. So our technology in the beauty space is very solid. being trusted by not only 700 beauty brands, but including all those tech giants. And this solution is designed to be omnichannel. You can use that both in-store, in iPads, online, or as a part of the plugins into Google Search, into YouTube, and other platforms. A few more slides about the financial highlights and the key metrics. So last year, the last quarter three is the last year announced result. We did about 11% growth in the revenue. The first 3 quarters of the year was about 13%. And I said the previous year, in 2023, we did about 54 million. I think in 2024, based on the guidance we have given to the market, we will reach over 60 million. So the guidance for 2025 will be announced later on in our earnings calls in this quarter. So stay tuned. Margin-wise, the first 3 quarters of last year was about 79%, so quite stable compared to the previous year. So about 80%. So high margin business is a software business, right? The only cost we really pay is the Apple tax and the Google tax for the app subscription business when people download that from the App Store. But on the enterprise side, there's no such thing, right? So we did direct business to the brands, mostly on global enterprise contracts. So again, very high margin business. On the bottom line, very solid bottom line. In 2023, our adjusted net income was about $7 million. And in the first 3 months, 3 quarters of the 2024 was already 6 million. So the margin rate is about 13% since then. Last reported quarter 3 was a very strong quarter, 3.2 million in margin and near 20% in margin rate. Other thing I will note is a very strong cash balance, operating cash flow. So the company, we have a very positive operating cash flow of 9.8 million in the first 3 quarters of the year, and compared to about 10 million in the previous year. The other thing is our balance sheet is very strong. As our last reported quarter, we have over $160 million in our balance sheet in cash or cash equivalents. Those are proceeds that we raised in our previous private rounds, and also through the IPO. So the one acquisition was the first move to use some of these proceeds through growth acquisitions. So here are my last slide to talk about our strategy to drive new revenue growth. Continue to deepen penetration in our top 20 beauty groups. Although we are already doing business with them, but there's a lot of room to do cross sales to their sister brands. There's more than 500 brands within those groups, and a lot of them are still not fully equipped with this technology. So year after year, our mission has been to upgrading them using our technology to allow them to have a better digital engagement with consumer as the consumer are moving now online. Big expansion into skincare, not only for the brand, but going to the med spa, the aesthetic clinics, and the dermatologists, and even into aesthetic, plastic surgery and more and more. So more better news to announce later this year. Penetrating into fashion and jewelry. So including our one acquisition was under that strategy to expand that into more TAM. Continue to innovate into YouCam apps. So the YouCam apps, the B2C apps is growing really, really nicely, especially in this last holiday season. We see a lot of momentum in generative AI, where consumers are willing to pay for the usage to unlock those premium features through subscription. And then continue to explore synergistic M&A selectively, right? Looking into business that we understand that we can take it globally. So one was a business that mostly resides in Europe. Now with addition with the Perfect Corp, we have a global sales team, a global marketing that are able to take these and make it into a bigger story. So those are the few quick summary about what the company does. And I think I'll open the floor for questions. Thank you for listening.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for the presentation, Lewis. Found that absolutely fascinating. I will just jump into a couple of questions we've got here. Now, the first one I've got, obviously, for investors that are new to Perfect Corp, realistically, what do you consider to be some of the key competitive advantages for the company? And when it comes to long-term growth drivers, where are those opportunities currently sitting in the market?
Exactly, excellent. I think the demand for technology is just ever growing. The beauty brands, the fashion brand, they are all under a digital transformation phase. And it has been in the last few years, and it will continue, in the decade to come. They rely on partners because they don't have in-house capability in technology. So it's very important that you need to own the technology and not just sub-license it or work like an agency. So I think one of the forte at Perfect is because of our legacy from Cyberlink or the way that we understand this market. We want to build that and own the IP, right? That's the only way you can remain competitive because this space is changing quickly. And other thing is the brand, they're all looking into differentiation. So its brand don't want to take the exact same solution, right? So it is important that you harness the power of the technology and be able to offer that in a way that they differentiate and bring up the value, to bring up the brand of it. So to us, I think it's critical to continue to invest in technology, and that's really how we remain competitive. In the space of technology is always something disruptive that will come in the horizon that try to displace you. And so we understand that. We have been in this market for more than 20 years. So it is important that we are continue to hiring the talents, to acquire the right technology, and to invest, because all this AI thing, the buzz around it, right? You never really know, what the limitation of it. So it is important for us to continue to do that. The other part that is also important competitive advantage of us is being very close to our clients. Beauty brands, they really need to be taken care in a certain way to understand their demand, understand their brand value, and we do that very proudly because of our global team. Sitting very closely with each of these brands, our customer success manager, understanding their demand, their challenges, and bring up solutions that are tailor-made for their brand. So these will be important key factors that we are living here day and night and try to have that competitive advantage in technology, but at the same time be very close to our clients.
Well, thank you for that exploration, Lewis. Now, just to move on here, obviously you did briefly discuss how quickly the industry is changing. Now, specifically when it comes to the beauty and fashion industry, how do you believe this industry has evolved over the past couple of years, and what opportunities does this present for Perfect Corp?
When we started this company 10 years ago, the landscape was very different. The beauty and fashion industry, less than 10% of their sales were happening online. They were mostly in brick and mortars, in the retailers, and that has been a massive change in the last 10 years. The brick and mortar may still be bigger, slightly bigger than the online, but the online is growing at a much faster pace. Right? Look at the last Black Friday sales data from the United States this holiday season. The online sales are growing 15, 16%, if not higher, while the retail is a little bit more flat, maybe single digits growth. So I think this is really opening up the technology opportunity for us, because when the brand, they are going online, how do they engage with the consumer who are behind their smartphone or behind a screen, right? There's no more the human factor that you can play so much. So you really rely on that to understand your consumer. What's their behavior, how they look like, what are their color preferences, and so forth. So I think this is where the mega trend are. There's a structural, transformational tailwind pushing all these brands to go more digital, go more online. And as they do, I think the dependency to technology, whether it's on the e-commerce, on the shopping cart, on the engagement such as ours, is going to be just bigger and bigger. So for us, it's how we bring the next generation hyper-realistic virtual try-on, right? How can you try that better? It's very different to distinguish today a photo from an AI-generated photo, right? So we already know that. So imagine, in a soon near future, this will come for fashion, for apparels, for my jacket, right? So instead of going online and shop and look at the model pictures, would it be cool and fun to see yourself walking down the red carpet wearing, Valentino or wearing, Gucci? And I think this is going to create so much opportunities for online shoppers.
All right, brilliant. Thank you for that one. Now, obviously, as you've just mentioned, obviously you guys have the business-to-business channel as well as the business-to-consumer segment. Now, with both of those significantly contributing to your revenue levels, what makes Perfect Corp so successful with this hybrid business model?
It is, we're lucky and we are very unique in this space. Not so often you see a company who can operate both models concurrently without much conflict, right? And I think this really comes to the way we position our business. Our B2B business is really, the brand are trying to sell to the beauty consumer, which is exactly the same group of consumer that we have, but we don't sell makeup product by ourselves. We help the beauty brands to sell their product to the consumers.
Yeah.
So ultimately, we are talking to the end user are the same group of beauty lovers.
Yeah.
And this is where we come. So when we design our technology, we don't think about B2B or B2C. We think about what beauty lovers want, what the beauty consumers wants. And when we have the technology, we can put that in our platform, in the YouCam apps very quickly, because we can pilot that, we can get their feedbacks. And as we go do that, we do a really in-field testing. We get a lot of feedback. We optimize the product. And we know the enterprise customer, they have a longer journey. Their funnel is longer. They have a longer evaluation period, right? They're longer, more internal stakeholders. So while they go through that process of evaluating it, we already have a technology testing in the field with tens of millions of users, end users. And so when the technology is mature and it is ready, we take this back to the consumer. They can trust us because they know they are not going to be the first one to try this. They know this has been tested, well tested in many countries for millions of users. So I think it's really that circle that help us create a synergy between the B2B and the B2C. And there are some, new technology that, again, even the consumer haven't seen it. So it's very hard for the enterprise to buy in the technology if they don't know what's the impact of that technology. And luckily, again, because of the YouCam apps that we have, from our decades of investment in this field, we are able to really pilot test that, use this almost like a test bed to test all this new technology and then monetize it both on enterprise, but also direct consumer, which again is another big surprise to us, a nice surprise. When we started 10 years ago, it was very hard to monetize B2C business. 10 years ago, there was no subscription. Consumers were all using free apps. Right, so the app were there, but we never really monetized it until about 4 years ago, when I think there's a global shift in the way that consumers are now willing to pay for digital goods and digital services. And I think we just kind of ride on that, and we are really lucky to have this market growing faster and faster. Not only the well-developed Western countries, we even see, like even Brazil, is growing, faster, willing paying for the digital apps. So I think this is going to be a very, very strong funnel for us in this year and the coming years.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks for that exploration there. Now, just a couple more for today. Now, obviously, you guys did recently announce and fairly thoroughly discuss in this presentation the acquisition of One from Farfetch. Now, how does M&A realistically contribute to the company's growth compared to just traditional organic growth? And as a follow-up, given that the company is over 160 million in cash with no debt, how should we expect management to utilize this spare capital?
Right, the One acquisition is really strategic. Right, we know about the opportunity. We've been working very long for that, and we are very pleased to finally make that happen. Because I think the success that we have in beauty space already have proven to us that this business model it works. Right, the beauty brands, they need the technology. Now, as a team, it's only 300 people. We can be only very selective to do one industry, one category after another. We can't do 5 things all at the same time, right? So our speed and organic growth will give us so far, but I think the opportunity is just great to accelerate that growth. So when opportunity came up, we very quickly jump on that and close the deal. And now all of a sudden, we already have good client as a bootstrap, right? So instead of starting our own shoe business, our bag business, that we have to start from ground zero, that will take us maybe a few years to develop the technology and the client base, it gives us really that, first mover advantage. To give you a perspective, we also track what we call key customers every quarter. As of our last reported quarter, we have around 150 for Perfect Corp. So with the one adding in, immediately you see our client base grow, right? Because they already are using one solution for many years. You'll be already part of the Perfect group. Most importantly, I think it's the cross-sale capability. A lot of their fashion customer, the one fashion customer, also do eyewear, for example. But one doesn't have eyewear solution in-house, while Perfect Corp has. So immediately that's a marriage that we immediately create results because we can upsell that. So it'll be fun if you're trying your scarf and you put on your best, shades, your eyewear, sunglasses. So I think it's going to create that type of synergies. In terms of the capital, again, we are very focused on organic growth because long-term that is certainly a big success. But the capital is also give us a good tool to look into other opportunities such as Wana. Right, I'm sure there will be other technology companies who are doing great in certain niche market, or
Yeah.
they are only limited in certain geography because of their resources or capital. And by merging that into Perfect Group, I think we can really leverage our global sales force. Right, we have more than 30, 40 business developers around the world, in US, in France, in Italy, in Switzerland, in Japan, in Korea, and everywhere. And we are able to immediately take this solution to the market and say, hey, now we have a solution that's not only new, but it's proven in the market with big logos already endorsing them. So I think this will give us really a tremendous competitive advantage. And we have seen that already, that we don't really have much competitor left in this market, because they couldn't compete with us with the total solution we have, with a global footprint and the global enterprise contracts.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for that one. Now, just one more to finish us off today, Lewis. Now, what are some key initiatives that the Perfect Group's management team is really going to focus on in 2025? Obviously, you guys have expressed initiatives surrounding generative AI. Is this going to be the core focus for the year, or is it going to be other initiatives?
Yes, I think generative AI will be the core focus for this year. It has been already for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? I think since ChatGPT came out and all these other models and diffusions models are helping really accelerate and transform this business. And I'm even, nicely surprised every week or so, listening from my engineering team, telling me the different breakthrough that they're able to do with different AI training models.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be remaining a big challenge and opportunity for the market, especially for video.
Yeah.
I think generative AI for large language model is getting there. Photo imaging is getting so good. Still some minor issue to solve, but I think we are certainly getting there. And next is how we do video in a cost-efficient way.
Yeah.
Today, generating video can be quite costly from a computing perspective. That I think different player in the market is trying to resolve that, whether in the cloud, whether it's on the edge and device. So we also invest very heavily our engineering, our infrastructure to train that and try to create something that is unique. For example, we are expert in beauty, and we know much better than anybody else in color, in texture, in beauty looks. And we have some really, really precious data that are not accessible to general public because of our knowledge in this space and how we use this data to train our AI model to be different. Right, so it's not just creating a nice image of yourself wearing makeup, but you can actually wear the makeup that's most suitable for you based on big data.
Yeah.
Or you can be engaging with our GPT solution where you can get your beauty advice. You can analyze your skin tone, analyze your skin look and feel, your shape of your face, the shape of your eye, and then give you that personalized recommendation. In our view, in the near future, every brand, every consumer will have a beauty agent in their phone. Right, so these will be artificial intelligence power that you better than you know yourself. You take your phone and ask, what is the best style? I'm wearing this color jacket today. How should I do my hair? So you give it this also personal, and then you become your personal assistant. All for beauty and fashion styles. And I think this will be really the golden opportunity for us, and together with our beauty brands, on how they really embrace and get these new generation consumers in a whole new way.
Well, it sounds like the next coming years for Perfect Corp are going to be very exciting. And before we wrap things up, is there anything you'd like to leave us with?
Sorry, Ryan, I lost you
Is
for
there
a
anything
minute.
you'd like to leave us with, Lewis, before we wrap things up?
No, I think, thankfully, it's very exciting. The company is still very, very young. Most of our talent are still really young, and they work really hard. And I think every time I go and meet my partners in Europe, in US, they are always excited because they understand that the big dollar is moving from traditional spending into digital spending, is moving into technology, and I think we are strategically very well positioned here.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your time and expertise this afternoon, Lewis. We really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing Perfect Corp grow into the future. Thank you again. Cheers.
Thank you, Ryan.